exclusively by the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. As moderator, my role is to introduce our three panelists, get the discussion started with some questions, and give you, the listener, the opportunity to participate by using the chat function, which Rebecca will be monitoring as we move through the questions that we have prepared. I welcome our panelists and those attending the event live, as well as those attending and taking advantage of the recorded event. Thank you for taking your time with your Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce to join fellow members in looking at real-world, real-time strategies and tactics to help you sell and to serve your clients and customers, as well as new prospects in this post-pandemic business climate. One of the long-standing maxims in both business and nonprofits is that nothing happens until somebody sells something. And that's certainly true for our three guest panelists today. I will introduce them by name and ask each one of them to say hello and share one key benefit that the current disruption has afforded each of them. Our first panelist is Mariana Lewis. Mariana is a local small business owner at heart and spent over 25 years working as a business coach and consultant. She currently owns Low Country Textile Recycling and Mosquito Squad of the Low Country. She has served as the president of the Charleston Breakfast Rotary Club, as a member of several boards, including Oceanside Collegiate Academy, Life Resources, Wando Athletic Booster Club, and various volunteer positions at her church. Mariana is a lifelong Low Country resident. She lives in Mount Pleasant with her husband, David, and her two sons in college, and three dogs at home that are always ready for a walk. Mariana, hello. And what's the one thing that the current disruption has given you in terms of a bright spot?
I think like a lot of people that will probably answer the same way, it's just having my nuclear family all under one roof. It seems like once your kids get their driver's license, it's kind of hard to have them all at home at the same time. And we actually have started a book study together since we're home so much, but I don't know that I'll ever have this opportunity again with a 19 and 21-year-old being at home this much. So that's been a huge blessing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Marianne. Glad to have you. And our second panelist is Linda Naird. Linda is the program developer for Trident Area Agency on Aging. She works on developing programs and enhancing existing programs to provide assistance, advocacy, and answers on aging to seniors and family caregivers tri-county wide. She has been with Trident Area Agency on Aging for almost 10 years and has a passion for improving the quality of life for our area seniors and family caregivers. Linda, say hello and give us a bright spot, please. You're on mute at the moment.
Hello. I think a bright spot for our organization that they allowed us to think outside the box. So I really like that idea, and we're doing a lot of things differently. So it's a good change.
Great, Linda, glad to have you with us. Our third panelist is Julie Chapman. Julie is South Carolina's chapter leader for the nonprofit organization Our Community Listens, OCL, which offers a 3-day communication skills training seminar in the community setting. From its first class in October 2013, the Charleston chapter currently has 1,200 alumni practicing communication skills that improve their relationships one conversation at a time. Julie wrote a monthly column, Finding God in Travel, for the Mercury newspaper for 2 years and transferred to the Moultrie News, where her column, Charleston Listens, appeared bi-monthly for another year. Julie is known for her engaging teaching style and heartfelt stories. Julie, welcome, and a bright spot, please.
Thank you, John. Honored to be here with y'all. I think this quarantine has given me time that I haven't had in the past with all my travel and various commitments. I've been able to reflect, plant a garden, work on a writing project, and have meaningful time with my kids.
Fantastic. Thanks, Julie. And thanks to all our panelists for taking the time today to share some thoughts and insights. Let's go ahead and get started and ask the first question for the panel. And we'll go in a little different order from our introductions. Linda, you'll get the first opportunity at this, Julie second, and then Mary Ann. So here's the question, Linda, for you first. What is the single biggest hurdle you expect to face or you're already facing as you continue to lead your organization?
The biggest hurdle that we're facing right now is isolation for the seniors. Many of our seniors were isolated prior to this, but we have a lot more seniors that are isolated. And the isolation causes depression and health problems. So we're working on trying to reduce the isolation with the seniors, and the longer it goes on, the more that we're seeing that it's really starting to affect the seniors, and we're starting to see a lot of depression starting to set in. So isolation is our biggest concern at this time.
Thanks, Linda. And that's got to be a challenge. I can't even imagine how tough it is, not only on your residents, your senior citizens, but on their families, their loved ones who are unable to see them as well. And we've seen them on videos being through windows and any other number of measures just to try to convey that love. So, wow, what a challenge that must be.
John, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure what it is.
Not sure either. We'll ask the panelists who aren't speaking at the moment to just mute themselves if they can. Julie, you're up next. So, and I will mute myself when we're all listening. Julie, the question now for you, what's the single biggest hurdle you expect to face or you're facing already as you continue to lead your organization?
Right now, we're not able to do what we normally do, in-person classes. And so we've been trying to figure out where we want to put our energy. And so that just takes a little time to switch gears and start focusing our energy on enhancing our curriculum so that when we are able to meet in person again, we will have even a better product, but also to think about augmenting policy and procedures, connecting with alumni, and even now thinking about connecting with non-alumni.
Okay. Julie, thanks. And again, when your entire service offering is geared toward a setting where people get together, you do have to flex and adjust and pivot, as we say here, in order to continue to serve and nurture that community. So thank you for that. And then Mariana, how about you? The single biggest hurdle you expect to face or you're already facing as you continue to lead your organizations and businesses?
My biggest hurdle is really more internal because we don't have a lot of face-to-face contact with our customers at Mosquito Squad. But my biggest hurdle really is the sense of camaraderie and morale internally with my team. We've got a small team and we've all got individual offices, but we can hear one another. And my average lifespan with my employees is 5 years. So we like each other and we're friends and we laugh a lot when we're all together. And when we delight a customer, we love to, get off the phone and share the story. And when we have a challenge, we love to get together and brainstorm to figure out how we can really, again, come back around and delight that customer. And so while we're having lots of Zoom calls and, like everybody leading an organization is really over communicating with their team, it's just not the same energy level as being with your teammates whom you enjoy being with. So really my biggest hurdle is recreating that camaraderie and keeping morale at as high a level as it would be if we were all together and face to face, which I know everybody's experiencing that in some way, professionally and personally, on some level.
Right. And so your challenge is to somehow try to recreate that energy, that resource, that valuable cultural component of energy that you get from the interaction and encouraging one another. Those small feat, indeed. So thank you, Mariana. Hey, here's the next question for everybody, and we're going to start with Julie on this one, and then we'll come to Mariana and finally Linda. What's one key thing you're doing in the current business and economic climate that you feel prepares and equips you for the work ahead? What are you doing now that you feel will prepare you and equip you for the work that you're looking at ahead? Julie?
We are looking at delivering our main product, our community skills training class, in new ways, and think about what that looks like. So from offering it maybe non-consecutively, because it's usually Tuesday through Thursday, doing it differently, different days of the week, to potentially offering half virtually with a day in-person classes, or breaking our material into bite-sized chunks for non-alumni. So really everything is on the board, and trying to think outside the box and be creative to meet the needs, the new needs of people that we come in contact with and that we want to serve.
It's amazing, isn't it, Julie? Because if without the pandemic, and nobody was looking for this or hoping for it, but without the pandemic, a lot of those things wouldn't even be on the table.
Right.
So
Yes, because we have a good product and we thought it's working. Why change something that's not working? I mean,
Right.
That's still working. And this is, like, okay, let's think outside the box. Let's think in new ways.
Thanks, Julie. Mariana, same question. What's one key thing you're doing currently that you feel like prepares and equips you for the work ahead?
I've got kind of a two-prong answer to this. One is a mindset, and the other is very practical. We are consciously and purposefully choosing to operate from a mindset of generosity, empathy, and abundance. And what I mean by that is, in this unprecedented time, I think we all have friends and family members, business owners that have just been gripped by fear for good reason, for good reason. But I also believe you reap what you sow and you attract what you put out there. So I am choosing to believe that if we operate from a place of abundance, generosity, and most importantly, empathy right now, that we will reap that at some point in the future, whether it's financial or goodwill or whatever. But three of the ways that we're doing that is I have a Facebook group in my neighborhood, and we offered to do complimentary treatments the first week that all of this started for any of the healthcare workers, so that when they were home, they could actually enjoy their outdoor time. The second thing that we started to do as we were renewing our customers for this season is there are a couple dozen that are not financially able to move forward. And so we've circled back around to them and have just surprised them with a call and said, you've been so good to us in the past that we just want to reach out with a complimentary treatment, and we know you'll be back with us when you're able. But until then, we would love to be able to treat you with a complimentary barrier spray treatment. And then the third thing that we're doing is starting on Monday, working with the Low Country Food Bank. We're going to be doing a virtual and a hands-on food drive. So we'll promote it to our Mosquito Squad customer base and beyond. And our customers can choose to leave food on their porch for us to retrieve, or they can make financial donations online. So from a philosophical standpoint, the giving away of complimentary treatments to those that just really may need a lift in their day, and then really doing something to mobilize the community and gather some food for people that are going to need it. And then on a very practical standpoint, stemming from that abundance mindset is we're spending more on advertising. I mean, I'm going all in, and I'm spending more. I just am feeling like that's what I need to do. Whatever that cereal example is, I want to be the one coming out on the end ahead of my competition, and it's going well so far. We're having a really good start to the season, but we're just pushing back fear and trying to look for the blessings and bless others as much as we can moving forward.
Thanks, Mariana. And you've got a particular opportunity, don't you, with the sheltering in place piece, where people are making more use of their yards perhaps than ever in recent memory, at least.
They really are.
Those yards are more important geographically to them than they've been for a long, long time. Mm. So thank you. Linda, same question. What one key thing are you doing currently that you feel prepares and equips you for the work ahead?
One thing that we are doing is we are changing a lot of our programs to be able to reach seniors in their homes. And we're getting a lot more calls from seniors that did not have a need for our assistance before. So a lot more seniors are calling into us. So I'm very happy that we're exposing our message and our services to an area that hopefully we will be able to continue to help. But also been changing some of our programs and services to help with the seniors that are isolated and in their homes, that we will be able to continue these moving forward so that we can help more people in the future.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that as well. And you know, once again, you know, here we have a pandemic that seems to be unfairly targeting people who are in the age bracket that you serve. And so what happens then is that you've got sort of a double-edged sword. You're trying to help them at the same time as protecting them. That's got to be difficult. And you're on mute.
It is very difficult, and we have been doing most of our things over the phone. Last year we did 2,500 in-home assessments, and we've not done an in-home assessment for 4 solid weeks. So we've been doing them over the phone at this time, but we have not missed a beat. We're still continuing with all of our programs that we did prior to. We're just adjusting it to the current needs.
Okay. Linda, thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
All right. We've got a third question, and we are encouraging those who have a question for our panelists today to make use of the chat function and the Q&A. And Rebecca will check with you in just a second. I'm going to ask the question, and in this case, we'll start with Julie. Let's see, no, we started with Julie. We'll start with, who haven't we started with here? I guess we'll start with Mariana, we'll go to Linda, and we'll finish with Julie. This question is, what one thing would you recommend that others in organizations similar to yourselves do or don't do as we live and work in the current new normal? What one thing would you recommend that others in organizations similar to yours do or don't do? Mariana?
I guess I'll piggyback a little bit off of my last answer in regards to spending on advertising. I would encourage folks to continue to spend and continue to advertise as people crave getting back to whatever our new normal is going to look like. That's going to include consuming goods and services. And so I would hope that our chamber members and anybody listening is going to be on the forefront by choosing to spend on advertising. Spend with your local advertising mediums as well as your national. Specifically, I would add video to any of your social media, because while people have quote unquote time at home, a lot of them have got kids at home and they cannot talk on the phone like they can when the kids are at school from 8 to 3 every day. So if you are trying to make a soft sale, if you can include video in any of your social media that explains your product, explains your service, explains the proposal, so that it makes it easier for that person to engage your product or service, that's what I'm seeing is working. And we all know that video just, you know, increases the stickiness of any customer. And then, you know, sometimes we get so busy, we don't, my second recommendation in addition to spending on advertising video, but I'd take a step back and I'd look to see if you're missing any low-hanging fruit. You know, sometimes it's that forest for the trees and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't touched this segment of customer. They'll absolutely engage with me because we're all so busy. Nobody's sitting around looking for stuff to do. So advertise your social media, video, and I'd take a step back and look for any low-hanging fruit that you may have missed.
Thanks, Mariana. I appreciate that. Linda, same question. What would you recommend that others in similar organizations do or don't do?
I would recommend not to say no. It's so easy with everything going on when somebody asks you a question that's out of the normal, just to say, no, we can't do that. Take this opportunity to think outside the box, to create new ways, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And there may be those people that never go back to the way things were before. So take this opportunity to develop new programs, to reach the people that you would not be able to reach. We are also doing some television advertising because we can't reach a segment of our Medicare population who was calling us. We're delivering snack bags to residents of long-term care facilities, letting them know that our ombudsmen are to help with them if they have any concerns about their care, because they used to be able to go into the facilities to meet with those residents, and they can no longer do that. You know, we are providing meals to the seniors that used to dine at the senior centers that now are at home. You know, we're providing meals to them in their home, and we're also providing counseling services to the seniors that are in their home that used to be out and about because they're isolated and they're getting depressed. So I would just encourage everyone, just try to think of a way to help instead of saying no, because sometimes no is a quick response because we are all so busy, so much busier than it seems like we always used to be. So just to think outside of the box and take that extra step.
In other words, find a reason to say yes, I'm hearing you say, Linda. Find reasons to say yes to when somebody needs you. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. And Julie, that same question is as well. What do you recommend to others in similar organizations that they do or don't do in this new normal?
Innovate or die. That's what I heard the other day. And I think that, you know, like Linda said, think outside the box to create a present ahead of the curve, not just to react, but to, you know, take it a couple of steps forward and think in ways that incorporates everything Mariana and Linda said, with, you know, saying yes, saying, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. Let's see. Let's think about that.
Thank you, Julie. Yes. So innovate or die. What a great catchphrase in this time. We have a question, and I want to bring this so that we can see it. Or Rebecca, would you care to share that with us?
I would love to be able to do that. We are a skincare salon, which implies physical contact. We're putting in place all the contact protections and disinfectant processes required at every step, and then some. However, how do we best offer our services under those constraints without raising concerns and regaining the confidence of our customers? That's a great question.
That is a great question. And if everybody on the panel was able to hear it, I'd welcome some thoughts from our panelists. Let's see who would like to jump in on that one first. Please feel free to unmute and give that a shot. Mariana?
I think you're obviously one of the businesses that is really challenged, because I think there's a segment of folks whose minds you're not going to change. So I am sure that you have got a history of trust with your customers, and I just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to. Like I said, I feel confident you've already been serving them well, and they already trust you. So I think you just you have a conversation up front with them. Is there anything else that we can do to make you comfortable with this procedure, that we followed everything? Show them a checklist that you followed. Ask them for feedback afterwards, and then just get the word out about that, and promote how healthy and safety conscious you're have always been and are continuing to be.
Thanks, Mariana. Other thoughts, panelists? Linda?
I do. I wanted to play off of something that Mariana had mentioned earlier about video. And I think that this might be a great opportunity for them to actually video what they are doing, and let people actually see firsthand of the precautions that they have in place and how they're changing to meet the need of the community.
Thank you, Linda. So the visual actually showing perhaps a tour of the facility, maybe a service, a skincare session in action, showing the obvious differences. If there are, whatever the precautions that are being taken are obvious visually, that you can highlight those as well. So Linda, thank you for that. Mariana, another thought?
This is just from a practical, got my sales girl hat on, but I would really encourage you to take a look at your menu of services and what you're offering, because I know every business has certain products and services that have higher profit margins, and some of them you offer just because you have to offer and you don't really make a lot of money on them. You might want to really take a look and see what your highest profit margin services are, and maybe limit it to those. And then if you have products that you sell in the store, I would make it so easy for people to buy those products, whether it's curbside, delivery. I would be doing specials on my highest profit margin items, so that you don't end up, spinning your wheels. So really just take a look at those margins and maybe make some changes, maybe not.
Okay, wonderful. Mariana, thank you, and we appreciate the question as well. And if I may, I would add one thing, and the responses have been perfect. Mariana made a great point that there are certain people who just aren't going to do things the way they did them before. And as a result of that, you could pound and knock on their door as much as you like, and with very little return on that. So Mariana, what I took away from your thought was, instead focus on the ones that are likely to return, that are likely to appreciate and embrace the fact that you've changed the way you deliver your products and services, and welcome them back with open arms, as it were.
Yeah, Greg Surratt taught me well, and he said, stand back every now and then. Just stand back and look where you're being blessed. So for us, in a practical sense, where you're being blessed is where your sales come in easily, and move in that direction. You're never going to make everybody happy. And like you said, people's new normal is going to look different. And there's some people that just won't ever go back to the way they did. But to your point, I'd certainly gravitate towards those people and that customer segment that is welcoming you, and you want to welcome them.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. Julie, a thought?
Yes, I was thinking as I was listening to everybody and their great advice that it might be helpful to get some of the people that are struggling with this new normal and get them on the phone and just listen to them and hear their perspective, because they may not know even what the obstacle is in their head, and just getting them to start walking through that, they may realize it's not as big of a deal, or you might learn something that you could easily fix or make better.
That's a good point as well, Julie, is, maybe find out what that is. That's a great way of researching your customer or client base, and then adjusting or pivoting or flexing based on what you learn. It may not be what you expect or what you
Right.
have assumed, and certainly can be very valuable.
I have a quick
Yeah.
comment too, if you don't mind, John. I know I'm not a panelist today, but the close contact businesses are certainly something I know that they have been extra challenged these days. And as someone who normally goes to the salon every 5 to 6 weeks, I'm week 12, and, anxious to get back. I'm somebody who would look at, coming from a journalism background, what are the facts surrounding the opening of these close contact businesses? I'm assuming OSHA is involved. And perhaps if the business said, this is what OSHA is, requiring us to do, and we're doing this, and here's how we're doing this, and we're going above and beyond, to put some reassurance out there and get the facts out there, because there's so much information every morning that hits us. And I'm trying to limit my media exposure, but to be able to pull out the facts from the fiction right now, I think is really important too.
Thanks, Rebecca. That's a timely thought as well. I'm grateful. We've got enough time left for each of our panelists to add a final thought. And when you do that, panelists, please let us know, let our listeners and viewers know where they can find you. Website, any other place on social media that's important to you and a great outlet for your communication. Let's start, Julie, with you, and we'll go to Mariana and finally Linda.
You can find me at ourcommunitylistens.org, the Carolinas. And one thing that we are doing that we're very excited about is that usually I go around and give talks to Rotary clubs, to businesses about how to be a better listener. And it is an hour-long talk that I've been doing in person for many years now. And this is the first time we've been offering it through the webinar system. And we did 2 last month, and we're doing 2 coming up in May. One is May 12th from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. and then the 14th from 8 to 9 p.m. And so you will learn why you want to be a better listener and some real tangible ways to start implementing strategies to become a better listener. And very excited about it. And we have a flyer that we can send out to people, or we can put it on, make it available to you all, John.
Thanks, Julie. And people can find links on the website to register for those sessions.
Yes.
And I would highly recommend them. Julie does a great job. They are virtual events in our current climate, and well delivered. So I highly recommend those. Thank you, Julie. A final thought from Mariana.
I'm sure everybody has heard this, but in the words of my dear friend John Carroll, keep the faith. Keep the faith. This too shall end. The majority of us on this call are old enough that we were in business, that we made it through the Great Recession, and we will make it through this. And in the meantime, if you're struggling, please reach out. You're not alone. And I've just found that the best way when I'm down about something or panicky about something is to really just go try to serve somebody with your time, with your energy, with your resources. Go serve or go give. There is no better combatant to being down in the dumps, being anxious filled, fear stricken, than to go and help somebody with whatever you've got. And don't downplay what you've. If it's just a smile, a phone call, a meal to somebody, to giving away part of your business, one of your business services or products, what you have to give is valuable. And I just encourage everybody to give.
Mariana, thank you for that, and thank you for your time today. Linda, final thought. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Mariana, where can people find you?
Mosquito Queen. I'm at Mosquito Squad of the Low Country.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mariana. Linda?
I loved what they both said, and it really is. It's not about us. It's about. So you just need to be that kind of ray of sunshine for people, and smile and bring a little bit of positivity to them, and then they will be able to pass it on, and take that extra step and do something kind for someone else. I have really seen a lot of people coming together to help each other, as far as neighbors, seniors, family members. So I encourage everyone to continue to do that. If you see any seniors or know of any seniors that need any type of assistance, the Trident Area Agency on Aging does serve Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties. You can find us on our website at tridentaa.org, or you can call our office. And the number is also on the website. But just to keep positive, because it really does rub off. And through this difficult time, I think that's one thing that everyone needs to really do, and just keep the positivity going.
Thank you, Linda Nair, Julie Chapman, and Mariana Lewis, for your time and participation today. Thanks to all of our chamber members with us live and those catching us on the recording. And a big thank you to Rebecca Imholtz and Tamara Cornwall for keeping the Mount Pleasant Chamber out in front and serving our members and the community. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for your time today. I encourage you to check out our next webinar this week. It's with Congressman Joe Cunningham. It's Thursday at 3:30, and email me by CLB tomorrow, Rebecca@mountpleasantchamber.org, with any questions you have for the Congressman. Thank you, John Carroll, as always, for your leadership and expertise and time. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Rebecca.